2020 Draco talk, if you know, you know. I think a lot of people need to have a talk with a therapist. Like, please, girl, stand up. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Come along with me to finish some series that I'm in the middle of. I feel like most people will agree with me, but the summer is when I do a lot of my reading for the year, just because there's no school and I'm obviously at home a lot more. But this summer, I was working at a summer camp for 6 weeks, which is a good amount of the summer, so I haven't been able to read as much as I'd like to. I also have a pretty big physical TBR. I don't think it's like insane, but I do have a pretty big physical TBR and just TBR in general, and I want to make a dent in that this summer. So my solution to this, and hopefully it works, is to finish up some series that I'm in the middle of or like have started and just not finished. I haven't really thought about exactly what I want to read, but I think this will be good because obviously there might not be series that I'm super invested in, because if I started and never finished them, probably not super hooked. But I think it will be good to just finish up some series and then maybe I'll end up liking them a lot more once I get more into them. Hello you guys, it is, I want to say a couple days later, and I ended up starting The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber, which is the second book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, if you didn't know. A lot of people say this one is their favorite, so I'm hoping this will change my mind, because hot take, this series has just been falling flat for me. I did read Caraval, which I completely loved. Like, I adored that series, but I don't know, I'm just not super invested in Once Upon a Broken Heart. Hot take, I'm not a huge fan of Jax. He honestly just makes me think of Draco Malfoy, and like, how are you gonna outdo Draco Malfoy? 2020 Draco talk, if you know, you know. But yeah, I'm listening to the audiobook. That usually helps me when I'm not feeling a book, because I can kind of just listen to it while I'm doing other stuff. So I'm hoping that I get through it pretty soon. I am going on a trip tomorrow, which I will be filming, but while I'm getting everything ready for that, I'm gonna listen to the audiobook. So hopefully I get through a good amount. I'm about 40% in right now. So I'm hoping I make some progress, and maybe I'll see the switch like everyone else and fall in love with the series. But I don't know. Hi guys, I'm currently in Boston, but I did finish The Ballad of Never After yesterday. My final thoughts are, now I'm a little more hooked. Like, now I kind of want to know what's gonna happen. I liked seeing Evangeline and Jack's relationship go from kind of contractual to more, you know, like push and pull. Like, they both don't want that connection, but they obviously have it. I was really intrigued to see the plot twist with the Valerie Arch. I won't say more than that, but yeah, I'm not obviously like 5-star rating it, but I did enjoy it, and I will read A Curse for True Love, whatever the last one is. Hey guys, if you watched my main Boston East Coast travel vlog, you know why I'm still at the airport, but it's like almost 9 in Boston, and we're still at Logan. We're about to get on our plane to get home to Texas, but I'm filming right now because I think I'm gonna start God of Fury on the plane, which I was not expecting to read this, but I have been in the middle of the Legacy of God series for a while because my best friends love the books and I don't read dark romance, but it is one of like the only things I have on my Kindle right now, so I was thinking, you know what the heck, why not? So I think that's what I'm gonna start, and I just wanted to say that before this flight, because I know I'm not gonna be in any mood to vlog when I get home at like 12 in the morning after like being at the airport for 4 hours. But that is what's going on right now, and I will see you guys when I'm back in Dallas. Hi vlog, I'm reading this. I'm really excited. Sana, say hi vlog.
Hi vlog.
I'm literally only reading this book because of Sana and Buse. Do you guys understand how big of a commitment that is for me? I don't like dark romance. I don't like Landon at all. And that's it. So now I'm gonna read, and hopefully I don't DNF. But I'm this far through because I was reading it on my Kindle when I was stuck at Boston Logan. Because it's the only thing I had downloaded. I'm gonna commit to the bit, and then at that point I'll only have God of Fury left, in the series, because that's how committed I was to reading this. Basically, I only have a book and a half left in this series, and I'm gonna be really proud of myself when I finish this series. And it worked out because I was filming this video when I started reading God of Ruin, so it worked out perfectly. So yeah, I'm gonna read this, and hopefully I'll finish it so that I can just be done. And then I'll update you guys. I actually have a whole rant I'm gonna go on when I finish this. And actually, I'll probably just do it when I finish God of Fury too, so I can just talk about the whole series. But I have a whole rant, and it's gonna be a really eventful conversation. Guys, I did end up finishing God of Ruin by Rina Kent last night. I will just right off the bat say that I don't like dark romance. I'm only reading this series because my two best friends, for some reason, liked it. And I'm reading it as more of like a hear me out on their behalf, but like I don't like it, and I'm just gonna be upfront about that. Landon especially is not like one of my favorite characters. I think once he realized like he was in love with Mia and whatever, like he became a little more decent and I could tolerate him. But up until then, he's just so psycho, and I don't understand why people find that attractive. Like, I think a lot of people need to have a talk with a therapist. Like, I think he needs to have a talk with a therapist, and I feel like it's concerning if you like his psychopathy, but to each their own, I guess. I also think with all of the Legacy of Gods girls, and I'm gonna assume that it's the same for all of the Rina Kent women, like, y'all need to stand up, please. Like, you don't need to settle for this psycho man just because he's obsessed with you. Like, it's okay. I don't know. I don't mess with that. I'm gonna go more in depth on my rant about this series once I finish God of Fury, which I'm hoping I'll like a little more because Brandon has been my favorite character because he has an ounce of common sense, but we'll see. I'm also listening to the audiobook of A Curse for True Love right now, so it's gonna be like two birds with one stone, and I'm gonna finish Once Upon a Broken Heart and Legacy of Gods hopefully around the same time. But that is my thoughts on God of Ruin and kind of what I'm reading for the next little bit. Hey guys, I didn't really explain what is going on right after this clip, but basically that same night I started God of Fury, which is, like I said, the last book in that series. And so in this next clip, that's what I'm talking about and the progress that I made with it, because I realized I didn't say anything about it, and I just started talking about my progress without saying that I started it. So yeah, that's what happened next, and I hope that makes a little more sense. Okay guys, it is officially the first day of school. Well, it's the first night, so I survived my first day of school, but I have been doing a lot of work because I have homework on the first day, and obviously I have, well, not obviously, y'all wouldn't know this, but I'm editor-in-chief for our school newspaper, so I've had a lot of journalism stuff to do, but I've been kind of on my grind for the past couple hours, so I'm gonna take a break and I'm gonna read. I think I'm gonna finish God of Fury. The two books I'm currently reading, which are God of Fury and A Curse for True Love, I'm actually really enjoying, which is surprising because both of them I did not like the other books in their series, so I'm happy that I'm, enjoying the ones I'm currently reading. I don't know if I said this, I probably did. I'm gonna finish God of Fury right now because I'm like home stretch, so I'm gonna finish that book, and I guess I'll update you guys. I still don't know what like I do know what the big plot twist is because my friends told me, but I'm not at the point where I know it in the book, so I'm kind of just anticipating how that's all gonna play out. But I'll update you guys when I'm done, or I guess when I'm reading. I just finished God of Fury by Rina Kent. Like I said, I don't read dark romance, so with this, I have completed a full dark romance series, which, like, it's been a struggle bus, but I did it. I was not expecting that person to be the villain. Like, I kind of knew, like, a little bit about how it would play out, but I didn't connect the dots when we were first introduced to that character that was them. I'm trying to not spoil the book, but that was insane. For a dark romance book, I enjoyed this one. I like how, like I said earlier, it's not as graphic and violent. Like, obviously Nikolai is in a fight club and all this stuff, but he's not violent towards Brandon, which is something that cannot be said for most of the other books, with the exception of God of War. But I definitely did not like that in the other books, and I appreciated the common sense and decency in this one. What I wanted to talk about in regards to this series is, obviously, I know dark romance is very graphic and dark, but the thing with these Rena Kent books is a common theme in The Legacy of Gods, at least. I can't speak for the rest of her writing. I know she has tons of books. But the common theme is that the women are in such a, like, vulnerable position, and the men are, like, chasing them down or not following consent or, you know, harassing them. And there's this, like, tendency where these men are, like, players and they're really experienced in some regard, and the women are inexperienced and vulnerable and being taken advantage of. And that is something I really dislike. And I think that's another thing I liked about God of Fury, was that obviously that's not a prevalent theme, but I also find it weird that the only book that doesn't have that theme is one where it's two men, and that's just icky to me as a whole. To me, it feels really weird romanticizing all of, like, this really messed up stuff under the guise that they're, you know, mafia, or they're just raised, like, they're psychopaths, or I don't appreciate that in any way, shape, or form. And while I can identify, like, oh, maybe I liked this part of the book for each of the previous ones, I do really hate that theme where it's like the women don't like the relationship, they want to be left alone, man doesn't listen, follows her, stalks her, harasses her, chases her, and then kind of forces her. Like, to me, a lot of people say, like, oh, it's because she then fell in love with him. But to me, that just feels like Stockholm Syndrome. And I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into this weird, but that is my biggest grievance with Rena Kent. And I think out of the series, my favorites are God of Fury and God of War. I obviously didn't read God of War in this video. That was actually the first one I read in this series. But what I like about that one is Ava, the female main character, kind of holds her own, something that can't necessarily be said for the other female main characters. So while I do love a lot of the ideas of these characters, I think some of their actions are really messed up, and a lot of these women need to stand up. And I'm sorry, someone had to say it, like, please, girls, stand up. I don't even know what else to say on that. But I am glad to be done with the series. I may or may not indulge in other books by Rena Kent, mostly because of all of the grievances I discussed, but also a lot of the characters are, like, intertwined, and I liked seeing specifically Levi's perspective in this one. I really liked seeing his thought process, and I know that the parents have their own books, so I'm not necessarily saying I'm never gonna read anything by Rena Kent or that I'm never gonna read dark romance. Is it gonna be my go-to? No. But I'm just glad that I finished this series. I got to experience it. It was definitely an experience. That's all I'll say. I think, honestly, I'm in the mood to keep reading, and I filmed these clips in kind of a confusing order, so we'll see how this makes sense in the final video. But I think I'm gonna finish A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Archer, because I also have, like, a really tiny bit left of that one. So I've been listening to the audiobook of A Curse for True Love for the past, like, 24 hours whenever I've had time. So, like, when I was getting some stuff ready for school, and then, like, when I was getting ready in the morning, I was listening to it, and I'm pretty much done. Like, I have a very small percentage of it left, and I will say I definitely like this book the best out of the series. I am enjoying the story a lot more. I always hated Apollo, okay? But I didn't hate him. I always disliked Apollo. And I'm enjoying that kind of storyline. I am really intrigued to see how it ends, so I probably will finish that tonight or tomorrow. But yeah, I am very happy that I'm enjoying the last book, because it's not that I disliked the rest of the series, I just wasn't necessarily, like, super invested, and I was kind of just reading it, like, you know, just to read it. But I am really liking this last book. Hey guys, I'm about to go to school, but I did finish A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber last night. I'm pleasantly surprised at the fact that I really liked this book. I was a lot more invested compared to the other books in the series, and I just really enjoyed, you know, Evangeline's journey, because like at this point I was kind of mad for her with what happened, so I was a lot more invested in the outcome, which was super fun. This isn't like my favorite series of all time, but I did enjoy it, and I'm glad I read it because it is super popular, so now I kind of know what the hype was about, even if I don't necessarily agree. But that is it for this week's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one.